Hi everyone and welcome back to our channel. My name is Janine.
My name is Kofi.
And you are currently watching Flow with the Adjumans.
Today's topic is all about our second son, Kyell, who suffers and has been diagnosed with sickle cell anemia as well as autism.
Yes, so we're going to be going more into depth about both of the conditions that he has, and just giving you a little bit more, shining a bit more light on it, I suppose, and just letting you guys and opening up a little bit more as his parents as to how it's made us feel, family members, how their opinions on it, and just giving you a little bit more about both of them, because I think individually they're very
separate.
Yeah, very separate, but they're very weighty conditions that people deal with in different ways in their life. So yeah, we just wanted to shine a bit more light on it, and also talk about our children now, because this is the first child we're going to be talking about. Even though he's our second child, this is the first child we're kind of presenting to you, to the world. So yeah, so Kyell, his pregnancy was normal. There was nothing abnormal about it. It was really straightforward. He was born at 38 weeks via cesarean section. I actually went into labor naturally. My first pregnancy was also a cesarean. So my second one, I wanted to try and push, and I wanted to, have this whole natural thing. I was like, no, I don't want anything. I want to try and push him out. And that didn't happen. I was in labor for like 3 days.
Didn't happen.
And tried to push, and it just wasn't working. It got to the point where they're like, she's exhausted, we need to give you an emergency cesarean, which I was really disappointed about. But I was like, you know what, whatever's meant to be will be. Let's just do what we need to do for his safety and for my safety also. So I had an emergency cesarean with him. He was born at 2:00 in the morning, and it was lovely just having that nighttime to hold him and feed him, and it was really lovely. My husband was there, and then my mum came to the hospital after, and her tradition is dressing the baby once they come out from the operating theatre, so that was really nice. And then we had to stay in hospital for 3 days because I had a cesarean. He actually had a little bit of jaundice, so we had a bit of, they just kept him saying, put him near the window so he can get light. But other than that, he was fine. And then we had to do the heel prick, which every baby has when they're born in the UK. And it's basically testing their blood for different things to make sure that their levels are all correct. And when the results came back, we realized that he has sickle cell disease. And he's our first child to be diagnosed with sickle cell disease. My firstborn child has sickle cell trait, but Kyell actually has a full-blown disease.
So what you don't know is that I suffer with the sickle cell disease, and Janine has a sickle cell trait.
Yes.
So that's how we made Kyell with the sickle cell disease.
Yeah.
But we'll share and talk more about that in another video.
Yeah. So I didn't realise that I had sickle cell trait, and obviously then him having sickle cell.
It's amazing how you didn't realise.
I know. But anyway.
I knew. Another video.
Another video.
I knew.
Yeah.
She didn't know.
That's definitely going to go into another video about it. But yeah, so he was diagnosed very early. I think it was like 6 weeks, I believe. And I remember, actually, I think it was a bit earlier. I think it was about 4 weeks. And then I actually took Kyell to church. We go to church. And I took him to my church, and I felt led to take him to the front. So I carried him to the front, and one of the elders at our church came over, and she didn't know me at the time. She didn't know my situation. She didn't know anything about me. I think she knew my husband, but she didn't really know who I was. And she just came over to me, and she just said to me, if you believe, he will be healed. And that statement, that, them couple of words, I've stood on that from the day she said it.
Very comforting.
Literally, like, I've stood on those words from the day she said it. And every time, like, obviously he has niggles and pains and stuff like that, but Kyell's only been in hospital once in his whole entire life. Once. And that's unheard of. When you go to the doctors for his checkups and he takes his medication and stuff like that, they're like, what? When was the last time he was admitted? I was like, I can't remember. He's only been in once. It's unheard of. So Kyell has been very, very
fortunate.
Very fortunate with his sickle cell. People always ask, what do we do? nothing abnormal. We just give him his medication. You know, if he has any niggles or pains, we give him paracetamol, ibuprofen, making sure that he's drinking, he's eating right, he's not getting too hot, not too cold.
Yeah.
Exercise-wise, he makes sure that we have that balance, that he's still going out exercising, but he's not overdoing it. That's it. We're not doing anything special. We're not doing anything that's different to anybody else, what anybody else can do, and it's working for us. So we're just very thankful for that. And then Kyell was also diagnosed with autism.
That was a shocker.
Yes.
That was a shocker.
So about the age of about 9 months, we started to realise that Kyell was...
different.
Yeah, because we had a son already, we obviously was comparing the two, and he would just... wasn't giving eye contact. You'd call him, he kind of wouldn't notice you were calling him, or he wouldn't give eye contact, he wouldn't look at you. And we were like, oh, this is, you know, okay. But we didn't think anything of it because we'd never heard of autism before. I'd never met any. Well, I feel like looking back now, I had met or seen people with autism, but I didn't know that's what it was. People just called it special needs or...
But we didn't even know the name. I'd never even heard of the name back then.
But that's what I'm saying, though. I'd never heard of it, but I feel like I'd seen people, because one of my friends actually went to a special school, and I remember going to one of her assemblies, and I remember seeing children that were doing stuff and screaming and running around, and I was like, what is going on? But I didn't know that that was what it was called. Yeah, he wasn't doing that. And then he went to preschool. And when he went to preschool, they highlighted that he was a bit behind, like his speech. And they were like, he's not giving eye contact to us. He was still in a nappy, which wasn't abnormal at that age. But they were like, he wasn't even trying to use the toilet or the potty or whatever. So they're like, oh, let's refer him to speech and language for them to do an assessment on him to see if he needs a little bit more support. So at that stage, he went to speech and language. They did like a little tick listing. Does he do this? Does he do that? Does he do this? And then the lady says, I think he has autism. And we were like, what?
That was a shocker.
Yeah.
Because when the letter had come through, the statement had come through, I said, so what is autism?
Yeah.
This was only 12 years ago.
Yeah.
What is autism? Even some of our parents were in denial.
Yeah.
We didn't understand it. Sometimes we can be ignorant of things that we don't understand. I didn't understand it, so I was like, what is this?
Yeah. My reaction was that I wanted to know as much as possible. Like, I literally went on every course there was in the borough. I went online. I found out so much because I was like, I want to know as much as I can so that I can help him be the best him that he can be. And so I learned everything, literally. And for me, that was the biggest thing. Because if you don't understand something or don't know something, how can you help somebody else?
Can I just say also that you were... Janine has been fantastic. Once you understand her... No, she's been amazing. Once you understand her character, once she goes in, she goes in. What does that mean translated? She goes thorough. She became more knowledgeable than some of the autistic teachers or autism teachers. And I really do celebrate you for that. But can we just talk about one of the incidents that's ever happened? Like, can we just...
Yeah.
Can we just tell you, you know...
what it's really
the
like
highs and lows of...
Yeah.
Go on.
So, I think he was about... How old was he? 3, I think?
I don't know.
I think he was about 3. So, obviously, we had gone to this place and they'd kind of given us an idea of what it kind of was. But at this point, he wasn't diagnosed yet. He was just, you know... so he was still going nursery, and I remember going to my mum's house one day and I parked the car in a different angle that I'd normally park it, and I was emptying the car and stuff, and my eldest had gone inside, and I put Kyell inside, and I think my dad was in the kitchen, so I put Kyell in the front room and my mum was upstairs. So I went back to the car to get something else, and I came in and I was like, Kyell was not in the front room. I was like, Dad, have you seen Kyell? No. When did you bring Kyell in? Didn't see, but I didn't see Kyell. Then I ran upstairs. Mum, you seen Kyell? What are you talking about? Like, you just came in. What do you mean, where's Kyell? And I ran back downstairs and I literally stood there. I was like, Janine. And the thing with me is,
she was good,
under pressure, I'm logical. My brain just goes, and I was like, where would Kyell be? He must have left the house. Where could he be? And my mum had a garage, which was down a slope, up some stairs, round a corner. And I was like, that's the only other place that I know that he knows where like that we've been that he would know to walk to or walk back from. So I started sprinting round there. I literally sprinted round there. I got there to the garage and he was standing in front of the garage clapping, yay!
That's not funny, Kyell. Why are you clapping? There's no games.
Like my heart, like I've never, like as a parent, that's probably one of my worst fears is losing a child. Like I don't, yeah, that's my worst fear is losing one of them.
He's a runner, or he was a runner.
Yeah.
So, backtracking, he was a runner. We used to have, what was it, a little strap?
Yeah. Because the little lead you put around I was starting to say lead, I say strap, yeah, it's probably a better word. Around the hand. And I always used to see people have them for their children, or they'll have like the backpack ones that clip on. And I'd be like, oh, I'm never going to let my child wear one of those. It looks a bit like a dog lead.
He was a runner.
Yeah, and I was like, when he got to that point, it was like, he actually needs one of those.
No, but wasn't he running before that?
He was, yeah. But we kind of, as I said, we didn't want to put it on him because we were like, oh, it looks a bit like a dog lead. I don't want him to feel restricted. And I think we were more based on other people's opinion than actually what was going to keep him safe.
Go by what... Okay, you need to do exactly what you need to do for your child.
Exactly.
Your child.
Yeah. So we got one of those, and that was the lifesaver to be able to control it and keep him close to us. But that for me was that experience has never left my mind, and I think will never. Yeah, that was.
But you know what's amazing? We haven't even said he was non-verbal for so many years.
Yeah.
Non-verbal, couldn't really communicate. He would just stare.
So at this point, he didn't actually talk. So he was clapping, yay! He was happy, but he didn't speak. So he actually started talking around the age of 4. He started saying like mum, dad.
That was a miracle in itself.
Yeah.
If you see one of our clips where he was just staring into cameras,
yeah,
you could tell he wasn't there.
People would say spaced out.
Yeah, that's the word.
That's
spaced
like
out.
He's literally just like not giving contact, not but the thing is, he's listening to what you're saying. He's taking in what you're saying, but his brain is not processing it, and he's not able to communicate with you. So a lot of the times I'll be talking to him, and he's learning stuff, but he's not able to say it out or talk or to express really how he's feeling.
So talking about that, if he's not able to say things, how did he communicate? Give examples of what happened.
Yeah, so he would like point at stuff, or I think when you're a parent, you just get used to your child and how they kind of do stuff. So a lot of the times he would point to stuff, or I would know, okay, he's hungry. Like he wouldn't say he's hungry, so I would then prompt it and be like, okay, it's lunchtime, it's dinner time, it's snack time, and then I built up a routine, which I knew then would keep him snack time, lunchtime, drink time, for the hydration for his sickle cell, and we just started doing it like that. And I think then he just started gradually developing words. And I'd also be very stubborn at times. So if I know that he wanted to drink and he pointed to it, I'd say, what would you like, Kyell? And he would point, and I'd say, no, what is that? Oh, you want some juice? And then I would emphasize juice, and then he would say, so I wouldn't give it to him until he said juice. Obviously, within time, I wasn't just straight away. Didn't
he call everything juice?
Yeah, juice. He then said
everything. Water was juice. Fizzy drink was juice.
Yeah.
Okay, but then what about school?
Yeah, so he then got diagnosed at the age of 4, and that was a process within itself. Because the thing is, they need evidence. They need the evidence to be able to give you the diagnosis. And that within itself was just a long process, and it was hard and difficult, especially not knowing anybody. I did have some support from the borough. There was a really lovely lady that helped, a play specialist who really helped to give me the advice that we needed to be able to go forward with it. So he got diagnosed at 4, and then going into school, that's a whole nother ball game, because he went to a nursery in a normal primary school, and bless them, they tried hard. But knowing all that I knew, because I'd done my research, I knew what he needed and what they could provide, and they wasn't ready for that. Because when I went in and I was like, okay, he needs one-to-one support, he needs PECS. PECS is picture exchange something, I can't remember the last C, but it basically means it's pictures that it's like references for certain things. So you show them the picture and then you exchange it for something else to say like, oh, juice please, or whatever it is. But yeah, so I was like, okay, he needs that. And then I was like, okay, cool. And at this time he wasn't fully potty trained or toilet trained. He was still in nappy because Kyell's born the 30th of August 2009. So he's literally the baby.
Like, literally.
Literally just turned 4 and then he started nursery. Literally.
I personally wish they would have kept him a year back. That was my preference, because it's just 2 days.
So he was still in nappies at this point. And that's not uncommon for someone that's got autism, to be fair. And so what we used to do is go into the nursery, take him to the toilet. Then middle of the session, I'd say take him to the toilet at like 10:30. And then before I'd leave the nursery at 12, I'll take him to the toilet again, just to ensure that he wouldn't wet himself. And that process obviously then helped him eventually to get into that habit and that routine.
But what did he do? Because he got excluded from school.
Yes. So moving on to like going through primary, it was a challenge. It
was hard.
It was hard because the school just didn't give enough support. It was literally like, you know, your child's got autism, we're trying our best. I remember in reception, he used to throw things around the class and they excluded him because they said that he was a danger to the other children. Instead of, and looking back, and I think over the years I realised, because from a school's perspective, from a parent's perspective, when your child gets excluded, you're like, oh my gosh, they've done something really bad. They understood what they did, and that's the reason why they've been excluded. My guy didn't even know. He didn't understand what he was doing. He was just frustrated and he was anxious, and he lashed out by throwing stuff, but he wasn't fully aware that, okay, by me throwing it, I can hurt somebody else. He didn't understand that. So he got excluded, and that for us was a challenging time because I think as parents, you know, I know from your perspective, how did you feel about that? What was your thoughts and opinions about it?
Honestly, I still didn't understand. So 4 years in, I'm still learning, still developing. So when I heard he was excluded or he threw things, my mindset was he's being naughty.
Yeah, I think you got really angry with him. Yeah, thinking
I got really angry. I'm just typical African. I got really angry and I just wanted to make sure he behaved
himself. Yeah. But then my side of it, I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so you excluded him, but what support is there for this? Because clearly he's anxious or upset about something. How can we best support him in school so he can stay in school? Because school's going to be a lifelong thing that he's going to, or until he gets to 18, that he has to get used to. So what is the best option? And I'd never heard of anything, like, obviously I knew there were special schools, but I didn't know what was available. I didn't know anything. So I had to do more research yet again to educate myself, to find out what was available where he could go that would best support his needs. So anyway, after the exclusion, I think he got excluded like 3 times. It was it was just, it was stressful.
He used to bite and kick. He used to bite and kick. And again, that's his way of expression.
Yeah.
For us, we didn't do that, or we don't do that. But for him, that was the way for him to express himself.
Yeah.
He got him excluded, unfortunately. And then we had to come to realization, perhaps we may need to move schools.
Yeah.
Because the school he went to didn't have the facilities or the capabilities to cope
And I
with
also
him.
felt like they just didn't want to.
Yeah, it was hard work.
Yeah, it was a constant, like, me and the head teacher constantly were like this. Because I was like, this is what he needs. She's like, well, I can't provide that. And then she was actually the one, I'm not going to lie, that suggested sending him to an art school, which is an extra resource provision for autistic children. And
honestly, that was the best decision.
But when she mentioned it, I just thought because she just wanted to kick him out of school and she had enough and she just couldn't be bothered. And part of me was like, that probably is true. But also, looking back now, that was probably the best decision that we made, sending him there.
Because he's developed.
He made so much development so basically that extra resource provision is attached to a mainstream school. So it gives them best of both worlds. So basically he's in there, he's assigned to that as his class, but he's able to go to mainstream lessons for whatever lessons that we decide with the teachers and ourselves, which is the best lessons for him to go to, so that he can get the best of both worlds. And I think for Kyell, that was really helpful. No, I know that for all autistic children it's useful, but for him it was really useful because he learned so much about being in a big class and communicating and social skills. Because when you're in a class of 30 children, you can't just, you have to be able to communicate. And obviously he went with a one-to-one to support him, but he learned massively. Massively. And he stayed there up until year 6, and the time that he left year 6 he was
a lot more accomplished. And
definitely.
now he's in secondary school.
Yep.
So the same additional resource provision.
Yep.
But it's working wonders, and you're going to see, you know, his progression.
Yeah.
You're going to see what he's like. We're going to introduce you to him.
Yep.
He's an amazing child, and we really, you know, we look after him and we support him. And to us, he's just normal. He's
just
not
Kyell.
He's Kyell.
And I think that's the thing, that the biggest thing I think that parents need to understand. When you have an autistic child or a child with special needs or whatever it may be, that child is their name first. So I always say, he's Kyell first. Yes, he has sickle cell and diagnosed with autism, but he's still Kyell.
That's it.
That's who he is. So I'm never gonna limit him. Like he said to me, he wants to learn how to play the guitar. He wants to be a rock star, he said.
Rock star.
So we got him 1-to-1 guitar lessons. And he is thriving in it. And you're going to see some footage of him playing his guitar. But anything he puts his mind to, he's done gymnastics, he's done football. What else have we done? He's done so much things, swimming, so much activities that I've tried to allow him to do so that he can just be the best him he can be. But yeah, that's Kyell. And that's a little bit about his story. And, you know, you're going to get to meet him very soon.
Hey everybody, my name is Kyell. I have the sickle cell and autism. Oh yeah.
Introducing our son, Kyell Ajiman. We pray that the Lord continues to order your steps. You will never be defined by your disabilities. Please make sure that you like and you subscribe so you keep up to date when we post a new video. And hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Peace.